name's Colin Buchanan. I'm a musician, music producer, engineer. I play in a band called Paper Lions from PEI, and we're still here on PEI, living and doing what we love. Music became a passion of mine about the age of 14. I always listened, to the radio and stuff growing up. Magic 93 was the only choice at that time on PEI, and sort of developed a real affinity for pop music. Then I sort of discovered kind of classic rock and rap and R&B and all these different sort of genres whenever we got much music at our home in Belfast, PEI, and I just fell in love, and I wanted to play the drums. I tried that. Wasn't very good at it in the beginning, switched to guitar, and just became obsessed. So about the age of 14, it really became a true passion of mine. It became more of a passion because I was in the fortunate situation of being located next door to another group of young music fans, John and Rob McPhee, and we grew up playing music together. And we all sort of taught each other how to play guitar and drums and bass, and we, had a garage that we would set up and make noise, and their parents graciously would allow us to do so. And I was just very fortunate to have some friends that were also very passionate about music, and a lot of my friends learned to play guitar. I've taught a lot of my friends, and they've taught a lot of their friends. The band sort of began in such a way, a lot of naivety. We didn't know anything about the music industry whenever we began. Our hope, I think, was to play a show in Charlottetown was kind of the benchmark at that time. And once we did that, we just sort of learned as we went along, and we're still doing that today. And, you turn around all these years later and you're like, oh, this is a career. We've made a go of this, and we're, a part of the music industry now, and we tour internationally, and, have a few records under our belt, and, we just kind of learned as we went. John and Rob McPhee live next door to me. They're brothers, and I've known them since I was about 2 years old, I would say, and, we would always be hanging out and playing after school at their place. I pretty much lived at their place whenever I was growing up, and we got into music. Rob, who's the oldest, first started playing guitar, and we thought that was pretty cool, John and I, so he sort of taught us how to play, and then we kind of formed our first band, I guess you would call it, although we just called it jamming at the time. And from there we recruited high school friend Dave McDonald, who's from Montague, and we've been playing, the four of us, ever since. When success did come our way, we were quite surprised, because we were just four friends doing what we loved in our basement. And you make these small goals for yourself, playing your first show in Charlottetown or Off Island or in Toronto, or getting your songs featured on a radio station on a local level, and then on a national level, and then on international level. All these goals we've kind of made, and all along the way, and once we reach them, sometimes we don't take a moment to sort of appreciate the goals that we've achieved, because you're always looking toward that next goal. For us, it's, we're always trying to improve what we do and looking forward to the next step of our career. I wish I took more time to appreciate, the community that really has fostered our band and myself as a musician and a music producer. Friends and family and educators, my guitar teacher and my, the people at the local record store, and the people in radio. All these people, put a tremendous amount of effort and belief in you. And I would just encourage everyone to make sure to thank those people along the way, because they're truly, truly pivotal. My parents are fantastic people. They're very, very supportive. They've always supported me. Growing up, I was involved in so many different things, from sports to acting and comedy and improv and music, of course, and they just supported me along the way. Anything I had even a slight interest, they would, ask me, well, maybe you should go after this. Is this something you would like to pursue? And I always agreed and availed them of that, and I owe them a lot of credit for not sort of sitting me down and saying, Colin, I don't know if this arts is going to work out for you. They've never once questioned me, and they've always had nothing but belief in me. So I truly thank them. Be fearless, go after your passions. It's possible. It takes a lot of hard work, and if you're willing to put in the work, you can definitely make a go of it. Whether you live on PEI or any other small place in the world, it's very possible. And I would just encourage anyone who's thinking about this as a career or just as a hobby, just to go after it full bore and just follow your dreams. As cheesy as it is to say, it's a real thing. Cliches exist for a reason, and I would encourage everyone to follow their dream or passion. The work is, all-encompassing. It's not really a 9-to-5 sort of job. You're always sort of working and tweaking your art form or your business, because after a while, once you sort of get to a point, music kind of becomes a business. People don't tell you that whenever you're just starting out. So you've got to really push yourself to really put in that work, especially when it's something that you're not that good at. For me, it's like sort of the business end of things doesn't come to me as naturally, but I sort of realize that if I'm going to do this as a career, and I'm going to have to put in some work to try to understand the business of things a little bit better. I think the biggest thing is, just working on your people skills and personalities. I deal with so many different personalities in the run of a week, whether it's in person or online, doing interviews and working with people in the industry who work in different aspects of the industry, as well as in the studio setting, just learning how to sort of facilitate a creative atmosphere, and being able to sort of read people and, just get a sense of what someone is trying to put forward in a creative environment. I rely so heavily on, the loved ones in my life. My girlfriend and my family and my friends have been always extremely supportive of me. And, we're gone a lot during the run of a year. Touring is it's a long old process, and we've been very fortunate to have such supportive partners on the home front. For us, and that's incredible. As well as PEI, the community here is very aware of what we're doing, and they're very supportive. And whenever I was kind of first starting out and we were starting to tour more, I still needed to work an extra job. I worked at a coffee shop in Charlottetown called Beans, and the woman that runs that, Lori Kays, was so wonderful with letting me go, and whenever I needed off for touring, she was wonderful to give me some shifts whenever I came back. And those type of people who support the arts and artists that have one foot in their passion and one foot trying to keep the wolf from the door and pay the bills, those type of people are truly important, and I think you can find them pretty much everywhere on PEI, so it's a pretty unique place in that way. I mean, don't be embarrassed of it at all. It doesn't, success doesn't happen overnight, and a lot of my friends who are part-time musicians, they still work other jobs within music, but some of them don't, and that's just the reality of building your artistic business, is putting food on the table for yourself and for others sometimes. So I worked at a coffee shop for 3 years when I was still sort of part-time with the band, as well as part-time job serving coffee, and the that employment was really important for me at that time to sort of be able to sustain my passion, which was music. And it was amazing to have the people at that coffee shop believe in me, and everybody who worked there was so great and curious about my music and my my artistic career. So it was a real sort of community aspect that helped me get to where I am today, and I truly value that. It's kind of hard to say when we truly broke out. As I was saying earlier, it's just these little goals that you're trying to reach, and you're sometimes reaching them on a daily basis, but sometimes it takes years and years. So it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly when we sort of looked around and said, oh, we're doing this for real. This is success. But I think for us, there was a moment when we were playing in China, Shanghai, China. We were there in 2010 for the World Expo, and I just remember doing sound check on the stage and looking around, and I remember looking at our bass player Rob and just being like, we're in China right now playing our music. This kind of started just in, your parents' basement when we were kids, and now we're on the other side of the world, sharing that with, a whole different culture. And that was sort of the closest I would say we got to sort of a pinch me sort of moment. So that was totally cool. The music industry is ever changing. It was kind of the canary in the coal mine for a lot of what's happening now in film and television, everything moving online and trying to figure out how to tap into music fans. And I think music has done a great job of, just accepting the changes that are happening, although it doesn't always happen with some of the larger companies. There's a lot of young bands like us that really took the opportunity to accept the internet and being able to tap into a fan base on YouTube and through our email lists and Facebook and all these other social mediums. And we've totally embraced it fully, and as have a lot of bands, and I think that really has helped propel us forward. So I think the change is always good. You just gotta be one step ahead always. Yeah, social media, it gets talked about all the time now. And, a lot of people saying, how important is social media? And I just don't think that's anything people are going to talk about in 5 years' time. It'll be so synonymous with culture. People won't be worrying about, how to make the right tweet. It'll just be an extension of their daily life. For a lot of young people who have grown up with it, grown up with the internet and social media, it's just not going to be quite a puzzling thing for them. It's just going to be another aspect of daily life. So I'm not too worried about that at all. You can build a career in music. It's not the easiest, it's not the easiest path to take, but there's money out there. You just gotta sort of work hard to find it, and work with the right people, and that's in other aspects of the business, but also within your own group. We've got a lot of really driven people in our band, and we've been able to, with a lot of hard work, sustain a career and a living. 3 of the 4 of us are married, have kids and a house, which is, a pretty incredible thing. And part of that is due to living where we live. PEI is a very small place. It's, the real estate's cheap. Just cost of living in general is really low. So we're able to really follow our passion and create a sustainable business while also having a regular home life and, a car and a house and a wife and all that stuff that you sort of are, raised to desire and go after. We were definitely told in the beginning that we needed to move. PEI is nice, but that's not exactly the epicenter of what's happening in music, and still isn't today. But there's a lot of great things that have happened in the last 10 years on PEI, namely Music PEI, which is the organization on Prince Edward Island to help musicians. Rob Boki and a lot of other people who have worked there over the years have done an incredible job of facilitating relationships with all kinds of people all over the world. So we are able to just stay on PEI where we want to be. So it's been fantastic to have them in our corner, as well as the rest of the government is kind of coming on board too, so that's pretty cool. I think if you really are passionate about this and want to go after music as a real thing, hone your craft, always keep working on songwriting or whatever your instrument is. Just get really, really good, because there's a lot of people doing it, and it's going to take a lot of work. Never rest on your laurels as a musician, because you'll just, fall way behind. It just takes an awful lot of work to stand out, because there just is that many people doing it. But if you put in that work, it's very possible to make a go of it, and it's a hell of a time doing it too. I will say it's a lot of fun. I'm always optimistic about the constant change that happens in the music industry. Even 5 years from now, it's going to be totally different, and we'll all be scrambling to keep up. But I'm sure it's always sort of moving in a way that is more fair towards artists, especially in the last couple of years. They're trying to really figure things out as far as how people are going to pay for music, and now that CDs are dead. And when we started the band, it was all about CDs. You got 2,000 CDs pressed, and you got to sell those CDs at your live show and try to get them in the record store and stuff. And now it's just not near as big a piece of the pie as it once was. So I think the industry is sort of trying to find its feet in that way, and I'm happy to follow it wherever it goes. I think there's a huge advantage, being a band in our position, which is, from a small place, very low profile, not in the center of the industry. We can still be a very large part of it through the internet and through all the different avenues that the internet allows us. You still have to travel a lot. We're gone all the time, but we are able to, communicate with people all over the world, and that's a pretty powerful tool to have for a band like us. I see it as a life career for sure, whether it's, playing in Paper Lines specifically, or I also work at a studio here and with all kinds of other bands, mostly from PEI, just helping them sort of refine their craft and recording their records and mixing and all that stuff. I think it's a pretty exciting way to spend, the rest of my days. Anyone out there who's truly thinking about giving this a go, I would just encourage you to follow that path and follow your passion. And there's all kinds of time to become an accountant or whatever your parents might want you to be. But for now, you got all the time in the world. Just take that path and see where it leads, because if it works out, which often it does, it's a pretty fulfilling way to spend the rest of your life.